Well, hello and welcome, pool fans, joining us today from across the globe. And welcome to day 6 of the 2025 EPBF Predator European Pool Championships. We are bringing you these live matches today from the European capital of sport, Tallinn. The match being brought to you right now is 8-ball winners qualification. And we've just seen the lag, and joining me in the comms box and introducing our players today is my dear friend Pascal de Smit. Welcome, Pascal.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Gethin. Always a pleasure meet you here in the booth. And we're looking at AARTS versus Sanjin PEHLIVANOVIc. PEHLIVANOVIc, yeah, that's correct, right? Sorry for that.
Perfect.
And both like super talented players. I think Sanjin is probably the more well-known of the two, but do not be mistaken by this AARTS we're looking at right now. The pleasure of seeing him play many times because we live in the same country. Commentated on a lot of matches he played. I can tell you something. They call him the Buchten Butcher. They don't call him a butcher because he does something with meat. He just slaughters his opponents. So very dangerous. So
yeah, you're right.
What's your take on this?
Well, I think you've just alluded to Ivo there. Ivo can pot for fun and make the game look very simple, and as we find out, or rather we found out from our earlier match, it will come down to the break and maintaining the break, and Ivo has made an unfortunate miss on the 5-ball there, Pascal, and this is exactly what Sanjin wanted to come into after losing the lag. But yeah, I think you're completely right. Sanjin is probably the better known player. I've certainly seen a lot of him in action on the YouTube channel, and well, it'll be interesting to see how Ivo comes out the blocks. It's not a good sign from what we've just seen, so let's see what Sanjin elects to do here.
Maybe just a little bit of early jibbers, maybe. Oh! Elected to go for the stripes there, probably because of the 7 and the 2 blocking the 11, well, and the 13, I think.
I mean, for his first shot of the day, Pascal, that was a very difficult shot he took on there. I'm sure he could have found an easier starter, but he clearly felt that was his path to success. Ivo probably wouldn't have expected to back himself back in the table. So he needs to stamp his authority right here, I believe. One thing we have noticed, and it's useful to point out now, is its alternate break, and that has led gratefully for us in the commentating booth to some absolutely corking matches, and I have no fear that this one is going to be similar.
Yeah, you could see both players feeling the importance of this match. Winners qualification. They both know the other is very, very capable of clearing every table. But Ivo landing a little bit too straight here. So is he playing position for the side here? Just accepting a little bit more difficult shot on the 8-ball.
I think it looked like from the overhead it would pass the 9, but yeah, he fell a bit straight and had to take on this tricky 8 to the center. And he made it.
This for me, Gethin, is what 8-ball is all about. You can't play that perfect position all the time. Sometimes you have to just accept that you have to play position for a difficult shot, and have to accept what the table gives you. A lot of creativity needed sometimes, also some more tactical play, and there are a lot of more options than, for example, with rotation with 9-ball and 10-ball. It's just easy. You go from 1 to 2, very like you can focus 100% on making the shot, just leaving the correct angle. But with 8-ball you also have to consider which balls to take, which order to take. It's a lot more tactics, which is nice to commentate on.
Well, Pascal, I believe it's Sanjin's break here. He's just taken a seat. Small pause in the game, and you brought up a good point there. I've just had the pleasure of commentating on the previous match here on table 2 between Mario Hay and Tobias Bongers, and their breaks were so strong, and it just came down to two mistakes, and that was it. The guys played so strong. Their breaks were with the difference, and I'm hoping that that's going to be the case with this game. Holding their break, running out, not giving any chances to their opponents is really the key for today. And as I alluded to earlier, I know Ivo can pot for fun and Sanjin can pot for fun, so it will come down to their choice of patterns and how they do face the difficult situations that they're left with after the break.
Yeah, it's funny, I commentated on a Dutch championships with Ivo playing 8-ball, I think in the final or the semi-final against Mark Bijsterbosch. And well, he actually played really good, but after I spoke to him after, and he said like this isn't the tactical part. I don't like the going safety or looking for this precise stuff. He just wants to he likes rotation more actually, so it's really interesting to see how he's gonna manage here in 8-ball, because he maybe doesn't really like the game, but it's not like he can't play the game. Know what I mean?
No, I agree. And you mentioned Ivo coming from the Netherlands. We don't have the pleasure to be here right now in the Kalivi Hall, the star-studded Kalivi Hall. If you can look at the background there, it looks beautiful there in Tallinn. And Pascal and I are bringing you our commentating from the Netherlands. So you may think that there is some bias within us. However, I guarantee you there is not. And it's going to... Yeah, the pause, it looks like the referee was just having a comfort break. And Sanjin, having sat in his chair for a little bit now, has to compose himself and give Ivo a little rattle with his break. So let's see how he fares here, Pascal.
Yeah, we talked a bit about Ivo there, but let's talk about this young man, 23 years of old, if I'm not mistaken, and already such a big name. Made a name for himself by just practicing hard, knocking on the door for big tournaments for a long time already.
Ooh. Did you see that little scratch on the back of his head there, Pascal? I think he's just overrun for the 4 here.
Sorry, he already got 1 European 10-ball championship title. So this young man
at 23.
Yeah, he really can play, and on paper should be slight favorite, I think, against Ivo.
Well, he has that cluster with the 3 and the 5 to contend with. From this angle, it's not giving much away, but I believe they both pass the 14. I did notice, Pascal, that Sanjin broke from just off center to the left as we look at it, and I've been watching most players break right down the center of the table, so he clearly has favored a different position to break from. Maybe that helps him avoid certain collisions, but he's come in at the right side of these two, but he's going to connect the 3 with the 3 if he puts the 5, Pascal.
Yeah, if he's lucky. Oh, he's going for the 3 there, just to, so he knows which path the cue ball's gonna take, or no, yeah, he's shooting the 3. Yeah. Just
Now,
took his eye off the pot there for a bit.
Yeah, I think he did, or unless there was a small chance he was trying to play off the 14 there to open up the pocket for the 6, but with the cut that he had on, if he going for the pocket, it would have been hard enough in itself, so Ivo finds himself back at the table. And it's clustered right away.
Oh, what a good little nudge there. That's where you can see the level of a player he is. Just played that perfect.
Well, a lot of players would have gone into that with pace. That shows a good deft touch and good early signs for Ivo for the delicate shots.
At one point I heard someone say, or give the advice, practice like you're playing a big match. Play a big match like you're practicing. Think about that. Don't see Ivo play. Times in. Looks like he doesn't have a care in the world. 2-0. Just got it on pocket speed.
Yeah, he slides it in there. Yeah, I think he made the right the shot selection with coming off the 2 rails, but he did come up short, and that left that 8 ball was rather tricky. Ivo finds himself in a 2-0 lead, Pascal, and with the break. That's a good sign in alternate break for him. So Sanjin will be hoping that this is dry, or at least he gets back to the table to not let this deficit increase anymore. Did that go dry, Pascal?
He's got his fair share of options.
It's a good spread. PEHLIVANOVIC will be an opportunity to stop Ivo's 2 next speed. And I think there, Pascal, he could have gone either solids or stripes. But he's picking off the solids with ease, and his last 4 solids are all down the same end of the table. I don't think the 3 passes, so he'll may want to play for that now. Yeah.
Okay guys, sorry, just had a small technical hiccup with the mic. I'm good now, or at least I hope.
Well,
so sound should be better now. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Sometimes we faced with a few difficult stuff. So back to the match. Oh, this looks pretty solid to me.
Yeah, and the gentleman from Bosnia and Herzegovina has done exactly what he needed to do off of Ivo's failed break, and that keeps it interesting, Pascal.
Yeah, it does. As neutral fans and commentators, we would obviously like this one to go, well, at least stay exciting. So good one for the score, and also we of course want to see those players put each other on a bit of pressure, see how they react.
Yeah, we had a very interesting situation in the last match, Pascal. You may not have got to see it, but Mario Hay surprise chance to get back to the table, and as he did, he dropped the chalk on the ball, committed a foul at a crucial point in the game. And the game was being played in such a good spirit that they both laughed about it, but looking back, and if I watch back on the Pro Billiard TV channel tonight, I think you'll find that that was probably the moment. So it can be such a game of few mistakes when these guys are playing such good pool. He seems to be looking at the angle on the 2 there and checking shape for the otherwise for the 9. I think his easiest starter would be the stripe, and yeah, the 12. So he snuck in behind the 10 ball, behind the 11 ball there, Pascal. That was going to be the tricky one down that end of the table. But he's
going for the 14 first to play easy position on the 10. And then after, well, look for a straight-ish shot on the 13.
Yeah, he had to play that one delicately. Would probably be quite happy with a straight shot into the center pocket on his next ball as well.
Yeah, so, and that's where 8 ball can look very easy, because now he just have to, well, stun or drop back just a little bit. But if he would have had like a slightly bigger angle, this would be a bigger challenge. Yeah, nice stun shot against 2 for perfect position on the 8 ball to the side pocket.
He's made short work of this, Pascal.
Wow, yeah, that's where I think the pro players can put a lot of pressure on each other.
Yeah, and if anything, Ivo was looking quite comfortable at 2-0 up with ball in hand for his break, and in not much more than a flash, Sanjin has brought it back to level at 2-2, and we'll start to ask questions of Ivo as Ivo steps up to break for our 5th frame. Winners qualification, 8 ball.
So, yeah, there we have another dry break.
Yeah, Ivo
Both
not getting
players.
the winking.
Yeah, it's just with 8 ball it's so hard. You don't have any easy balls to make on the break. sometimes they find this kind of break, but it's not like with 9-ball or 10-ball that they purposely going for, well, for example, with the 9-ball one on the spot, you would always go for the wing ball, right? But
yeah, indeed,
it's a little bit different.
Sanjin just played a lovely shot there to cannon into the 1 ball to hold for the 6, and he really seems to be opening up his shoulders now. So really good signs for him.
Yeah, good signs for him, bad signs for Ivo. And he knows he has to step it up. It is a winner qualification, so the loser of this match will still have a chance for qualifying. But you want to do it now, of course.
Exactly. I'm with you, Pascal, on that. Although we've seen some great performances from those who have taken the scenic route to the finals, so it's not all over. Yeah, something just came the wrong side of that, so I had to take a slightly longer putt. But this is looking formidable from here.
Yeah, that's good focus. So we jumped up a little bit.
Yeah, he did. I noticed that.
Maybe, wow, maybe not like fully dialed in yet. Just a little bit of nerves, maybe. Don't forget, like also the pro players. Oh, everyone feels nerves. It's just about how to cope with them, I guess. But you could see some there, I think.
We're just having a quick look while we're racking on our table 2 at our other live free stream. Played 8-ball between Max Lechner and Milankovic. So plenty of action to choose from as we see Sanjin line up for a break as he finds himself winning 3 in a row.
Yeah, so let's see there. Oh, almost made the 10-ball. Oh, a lot of balls almost went in, but yeah, you can't win wrecks with almost, though.
Indeed, and that was a rack of almosts. One of the matches I had the pleasure of commentating on yesterday, we ended up calling the gentleman the evaporator because every time he broke there were balls disappearing everywhere, and his name will return to me rather shortly. But it's great how you can find terms for the results from breaks. It was incredible. But yeah, Ivo has a chance here, Pascal.
Yeah, only thing looking at is the 11. I think that's the biggest challenge. If he has a position on the 9-ball, it's probably gonna be with an angle. Well, decided to try something there, maybe just a little nudge, but that maybe I felt like he could play the 9-ball and then open up the 11, maybe just bumping into the 11, playing it into the side, or have position on the 10. But now he has to do something extra. This also okay, I think.
Yeah, I do like that. I mean, moving that 6 away, if he was straighter on the 9, would have allowed him to screw back without too much to worry about. So he's pushed the 6 out of the way. It's a tricky shot though he's left with. Maybe he bumps the 4 now, or better still, the 15. Sorry,
the
yeah.
11. I think it's the 11. Maybe he can hold it, but I don't think. No, he's just went for the bump. Played
Yeah,
a
he's
good
just
shot.
moved. He's got the right angle, hasn't he, Pascal?
Yeah, I think. Well, it's not super easy, but he should make this. Yeah, there you go. But what angle does he have to go around the corners now to play the 8 ball in the same pocket, I feel. But can he avoid 2 ball? If he can, I figure he's going to real position here.
Yeah, I
Otherwise he
agree.
has to draw. Get like a more bigger angle on the 8. What's available in the top?
Yeah, he elected the draw, Pascal. You called it.
Oh, it went easily. I actually thought it was kind of blocked by the 4 ball, so I didn't thought it was an option. But yeah, great shooting by Ivo. Good to make a 3-3. Exciting.
Well, it was looking like it was going to get a bit more difficult for him, with Sanjin running 3 racks in a row. This is exactly what Ivo would have wanted. And as you notice, they're racking themselves. The tables are tapped. They have 1 extension rack, and they are on the shot clock. And Ivo breaking right from the side of the table has been something I've not seen much of. So he's trying to switch his break up a bit, and it looks like has been cool. Yeah, he's just choosing a different spot to break from, Pascal.
Yeah. Oh, difficult opening shot. Not sure where he's looking at.
No, was he eyeing up the 9, Pascal? I'm not too sure.
Yeah, the 9 would be hard enough on its own, but then also like with the 15 there. Yeah, that was always hard.
Yeah, a little slap of the thigh from Ivo, but as well as he potted a ball off the break, he was left with not a lot, and he's given Sanjin a look in against the break, and this will be an important rack for Sanjin if he can take it all the way. Are you seeing any? I'm not seeing any problems there, Pascal. What are you thinking?
Well, the only thing I could think of is getting a little bit funny on the 7. Like, but if he could, yeah, this is a great route. If he can get straight-ish on the 7, then he should be home.
Yep, but he didn't listen to you, Pascal, and he's come a little bit further past, and that 2 doesn't go into the center from our great overhead view there. So will he have to suck it up and take the long shot up the rail between the black? I think he is, you know.
Yeah. It's a little bit bigger angle than he would have liked. But I feel because of that bigger, the angle is a little bit bigger, he can play it a little bit softer, which is nice. Still favor him to make this though. Whoa, wow.
I was with you,
he will be
Pascal.
kicking himself.
Yep, I did fancy him as well, Pascal. I didn't think it was that tricky. but maybe he wanted to just make sure that he didn't run too far away from the 8. However, Ivo's got a little cluster by the centre there, and as we saw from Sanjin's first shot of the match, these corner pockets are not so forgiving on the Predator arc tables, so we could be seeing him develop this as a safety.
Wow. Played that a little bit careless, I feel. Because
Yeah.
Sanjin actually has... He can see it, so now he can at least try something. I think both bank shots are on. Well,
Yeah, I was just thinking, there is a small, very tight gap between the 10 and the 14 there, and it's not a bad route to go. Ivo will be disappointed he hasn't put him in a tougher position here.
and if he makes this... Wow, look at this for a shot.
Oh,
Oh, and I think Gatin, he has a bigger pocket there with the 10 laying there.
great
So-
call, Pascal, great call.
And I think he even checked that before he took on the bank shot. Wow, didn't even need it 10.
Congratulations. I mean, for our one pocket players that are watching from home, I'm sure they were jumping out of their chair at that bank shot. A definite shot for the highlight reel. And he had the thinnest of gaps to get that through, Pascal. And you saw it. You saw it. You saw both banks were on. I think he went the right route. Fraught with danger. Risk reward. Fantastic. He should be feeling fantastic after that.
Yeah, that was really, like, even though it was there, it still was very touchy. And then after that, he needed to settle with, well, you couldn't say there was an easy 8, right? So 2 really big balls, and it all started with Ivo. Well, he played a really good safety shot where he had a good chance.
No, and I think you're right there, Pascal. In the scheme of things, in the general run of the game, I believe Ivo's made more mistakes, and that will prove to be more critical as we get to the business end of this race to 8. And Sanjin has chosen to go solids, and they are all in very nice positions.
Yeah, I think because of the 9 and the 15, the stripes were a little bit harder, but you can also see the way he is approaching the table. He's fired up after that shot.
He's making it look like a series of stop shots, although he's elected to screw back for better position on the 3 here.
So have to watch out to not draw in a way to scratch in the middle. Of course he sees that, but this is just looking perfect. Get in.
Yeah, he really seems to be finding his stride now. This is a little bit tricky, and
Yeah,
as
it
we
was a
saw,
little bit. Sorry, get in. Go ahead.
and as we saw before, these pockets are starting to play even more tighter than they were. So I don't know. Yeah, very well done. Sorry, Pascal. Very well done.
Yeah, I think he had a little bit of an angle to the wrong side, and it was so straight that he needed to stun run to it. Just came up short, so it was a little, well, I don't think careless, but could have given that ball maybe a little bit more attention. Made up for it though with a nice 8 ball. So This is very interesting to see because Ivo is going to the side for a second ball break. So making 2 balls on the break.
Yeah, that's the second time he's come over this side now, and both times we've got a little funny cluster over by this center pocket, and the overhead view there gives you a great perspective on how complicated that cluster looks. Now there is an opportunity to play the long 12 and
Wow, great call, get in, great call. So,
however, I don't think he's out of the woods yet, Pascal. That 9 is not in the healthiest of positions, and that and the 11 is also a little bit
well,
tricky.
I think he can play position for the 9 now. Maybe for bottom right from this point of view, or top left.
Yeah, you have both options, Pascal. Good call. And if he can just play this in and stop shot, he would be left with a relatively straightforward 11 into the corner.
Yeah, nicely spotted.
Yeah. Good signs for Ivo. It did look a lot trickier. However, he has made it look easier than it likely was.
Yeah, and there you see really nice second ball break, executed well. A little bit more work sometimes. We develop 1 or 2 shots, but I feel with the second ball break, because you get a little bit more clusters, but a lot of balls are on one half of the table, so a lot of times there's also more balls being closer to the problem to bump into something, or you know, to get a collision here or there. So if you're confident in your cue ball, well, sometimes the second ball break gives you more certainty with the ball on the break. That could really help you out.
And the way Ivo handled his first shot to sort out that cluster, when you know you can play a shot like that, that does encourage you a bit more. So Sanjin 5-4 up to break.
Yeah. This is the opposite of the second ball break. Full on, making a ball, big spread. This is looking as a good chance. Get in. What do you think he's gonna choose?
That's a really good question. Choices, choices, choices. He's just checking to see what passes what. Yeah, that's a really good question, and a good point that you made initially. Won't ignore the question, but breaking down the center seems to lend itself to a better cue ball, and Sanjin demonstrated a good control of the cue ball there with topspin to stop it dead in the table. And he's answered my question before I could get to it. Perfect. Because I didn't know which one, Pascal, by all accounts, and I was looking and looking while I was talking, but the answer wasn't coming to me. He's chosen solids.
Yeah, so some very important shots coming up, because the position on the 4 ball is only possible over there, just where he pointed his cue. So he played a really good position on the 6, but still this is a little bit of a touchy shot. Don't want to bump into the 10, for example. Oh, I don't know if you can play it any better. Well, he would have actually liked a little bit more angle maybe. So I think he has to settle for slightly longer. No, he could stun. Past the balls. That's very, very good.
Yeah, really good. I actually expected him to take the 7 and the 1 out much earlier in this, but he clearly decided that there was enough trouble down the other end to sort out first, and he is looking very informed, but a little drop of the arms. I think he wanted to have the other side of this one so he could screw into the cushion and throw the white ball up towards the 8.
Maybe he has to settle for a little. Yeah, he has to do something special there. Well, cue ball.
Oh. I will watch that.
I have to say, he was almost straight on that, and to get that kind of action, that's. I mean, he made that look so easy.
Yeah, a little tap on the leg from Ivo. That was a great clearance, and I will watch that shot back, because I could not see at all how he would get that cue ball up like that. And yeah, as you alluded to, there was some power in that shot, and it gives Sanjin a 6-4 lead, and he's getting closer to the finish line. Ivo needs to step up with his break here and show to us all that he's not out of this yet. From the side. Well, I mentioned about cue ball control.
The 8 ball. Yeah, you're right, Gethin. You're right. Look at the cue ball.
Yeah, if the 8 had been potted, I do believe under the WPA rules it would be a choice to respot or to re-rack. If I have got that wrong though, Pascal, please let me and the viewers at home know.
Yeah, that's the rules I also am aware of, or the rules that I know. So I know there's even like somewhere in the States maybe, or there's this kind of rule in 8 ball in some regions where they play, if you make the 8 ball on the break, that you win. But that's definitely not a rule in this championship. So I have to manage the 7 ball. I would like him, if he wants to attack, to maybe take on the bank shot now, play it on. Oh, sorry, there I was totally looking.
No, me too. I was already looking at that difficult 7. You're right. That 7 is probably what has got him on the stripes, and now that presents him with a tricky 13. The orange stripe on the left there. So while he negotiates these, maybe we'll have a little think about what he's going to do there, because the 2 is causing him a bit of trouble too. Maybe he will look to do something here, Pascal.
Well, what about that, Gatin?
I really like that shot.
Couldn't have played that any better.
He's got to be careful he doesn't lose the cue ball here though.
Oh, I mean, like all the other times we saw some similar kind of shot going to the reel. It dropped, but there you can see the difference in between the first day or the first few days. Like after that, it's gonna slide a little bit less.
I think he cheated it in a way that he could hold the cue ball better as well, and very unfortunate. But what does Sanjin do now that that ball is in there? Can he play the 3 through it?
Yeah, if he's really straight and close by, he could try something, opening it up now, I think.
Well,
so yeah, I think
maybe had one eye on putting that stripe there. perhaps.
I think he's a little bit, the tree is a little bit better. If he would like, he could play like a straight position on it, but looking at the tree in the side pocket, this is not easy. It's a game, or at least a rack winning shot, I have to say. But still I've also have the 5 still, which is not easy. Yeah, I think maybe he was a little bit too focused on the tree there.
Yeah, do you think he was looking to pop a stripe as a backup in case he missed it?
Yeah, I think so. Making it so it opened up for the 5. I mean, he had the 6 laying there, so it was a pretty smart move. But the pot was difficult. Oh, barely went in.
However, this is exactly what Ivo needs, which is preventing Sanjin from getting to the hill and reducing the 2-frame deficit to 6-5 now. This is going to be a big break for Sanjin. Does he take himself to the hill here? What are your thoughts, Pascal?
Oh, he is breaking good, but as you and I know, pool is a very strange mental game also. I just heard a quote from Earl Strickland recently where he said, like, pool is the game where you learn that you can be your own worst enemy. And I think after such a mistake, you have to forget about it. It's not always easy. Good
Very
break
wise,
would
yeah.
help though.
Ooh. I think the 4 ball dropped in the center pocket, Pascal. I think he's still at the table. I believe he is, and yes, he is. Very good spread. Again, could go for either here. Looking like he's going for the solids with the 2 in the corner.
Oh, that's a favorable bump.
Yeah, that 3 will now go in the center pocket.
So after making the 6 ball, all the balls are out in the open. So the only thing you have to do is make up your mind which path you're gonna take, because there are a few paths that are all easy or all really good doable, but you have to decide, and sometimes in 8 ball that can be hard, especially when like all the choices are pretty easy. Just make up your mind and choose, because with the shot clock sometimes the clock can get you.
It looks like he's going to use the 7 for position on the 1. So wants to be particular here. But I feel that if he gets as straight as he can, Pascal, or anywhere around there, he can stiff the cue ball to put the 8 in the opposite corner. A little tap of the table, maybe he wanted it to run a bit further, so maybe he brings it out a little bit more. Let's see what Sanjin does here. Yeah, he chose to bring it out.
Yeah, he's okay. A little bit of a stretch, shouldn't be any problem.
Good stuff.
So there you go. Sanjin on the hill against Ivo, and Ivo, so the only thing he can do is break and run, put a little bit more pressure on Sanjin, saying like, you know what, I know you're on the hill, but you're breaking now. If you don't make a ball on the break, I'm gonna win this match. So
Yeah.
it looks big advantage for Sanjin, but big break here, big moment. Cue ball. Wow. What do you think, Etin? It doesn't look bad. He has some chances here. Not easy, but good chance.
I think if he wanted to go stripes, he would ideally not want that 9 ball where it is, because he would want to take that 15 out as early as possible. The ball connected to the yellow 1 ball there. So he may want to get the 9 out of the way now to open that pocket up for it. Whether he can play position for the 15, we will see.
Yeah, I would have liked to play position on the 15. Overran that, I feel. So I have to
Does
go
this
with the
ball
backup
pass
plan.
Yeah, I was just wondering if that ball would pass the 4.
I
Could
don't
play off.
think it does.
No, I think he has to play off the pink stripe here to bring it round, the cue ball round towards the 5.
So a little bit of one pocket shot there, but
Oh,
just put on a little bit too much side there, I think, or just was focused a little bit on position, a little bit too much.
yeah. Understandable. Maybe took his eye off the pot a bit, Pascal, but from Sanjin's perspective, he would like to take the cheese now rather than give Ivo any more look-in. So
Did you see how fast Sanjin was up at the table after Ivo missed that shot? Felt like he watched a lot of Niels Vajen there.
good shout. Yeah, I think he can leave the 3 and the 5 till last if he really wants to, and play the 5 long up the table, but he maybe prefers to leave the 3 and the 6.
I think he's going 2-6 now. So now choose which is easier for position.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, the 3 wouldn't pass the 8 there. So, an ominous sign ahead of us, Pascal. Sanjin looks to be very comfortable right now. This will not be the time to make a ball foul. So, wisely tucking himself in for that one.
So this 8 ball for a win against Ivo AARTS. 8-5, there it is. And the handshake, Ivo going on.